we try to win. We become so passionate about our cause or what we're talking about that we forget that these causes and these passions that we have, they're framed by the human race. They're framed by the people around us. They're framed by us. And when we forget that the person that we're railing against is us too, then we lose ourselves. It's hard when you're looking at a Nazi, and believe me, I have argued with them face to face in protests. It's hard when you're dealing with rampant prejudice to remember that this person is a person that has all the same feelings, many of the same things as you, experiences as you. They've made different choices and they have different thoughts about it, but they have grievances, and they have legitimate grievances sometimes. They have legitimate points of view despite the horrible nature of what you might be confronting within them at the time. It's hard to remember that. And all I can say is don't be pathetic. Okay? I've been pathetic many, many times when I've forgotten that I'm talking to a person. It's easy to be a misanthrope. It is. It's the easier way. Be a cynical misanthrope and forget that you're talking to human beings. It can be more fun to do that. I'll acknowledge that. But in the long run, it degrades you as well as the other person. Ignore conversations with people who are irredeemably recalcitrant and won't abide by at least the base level of civility. There's not much you can do, and repeated conversations with people like that are often, not always, but often a waste of time. Just because someone wants to pull you into the gutter doesn't mean you need to go with them. Just because someone's angry and frightens you or makes you angry or upsets you or hurts your feelings doesn't mean that their feelings aren't valid. Doesn't mean their experience isn't in some way valid. Doesn't mean they're not human. And that's something that I think is so easily forgotten. I've forgotten it many times myself. And it's an act of discipline. It's the kind of discipline that Marcus Aurelius talks about in Meditations, the Stoic philosophy school. You need to remember you're just a human being, and so are they. You're not your cause, you're not your passion, you're not your thoughts, you are the one that has these thoughts, and so are they. And you can be possessed by those thoughts. You can be colonized by your ideas, or they can serve as useful tools to propagate a happier life for yourself and as many people around you as possible. Don't be colonized by your thoughts. Don't be colonized by a passion, however much you might agree with it. Don't be colonized and possessed by ideas. Ideas are what we have. The idea should not have us. Conversations cannot happen when you become colonized by an idea, when you become colonized by a thought, an ideology. Okay? We need to reflect on the fact that proportion and balance and kindness are vital elements to any conversation that you might have with someone. And particularly ones online where the bandwidth is so low, where so many of the natural cues that temper human beings' behavior with one another are missing. It's why I like video, I like YouTube in many respects, because you can see at least some of that bandwidth is returned to the exchange. Perhaps in the future we'll have some kind of technologically provided social media telepathy / the ability to impart emotion as well. That would be a pretty scary, horrifying thing too, but it would be valuable in that we could at the very least return to a higher bandwidth form of communication where you can't just dump on the person in front of you because you feel like it, because you're being self-indulgent. Now sort of concludes what I'm talking about here. Self-indulgence. A lot of conversation becomes self-indulgence. It becomes winning at all costs. It becomes making your point. It becomes scoring. It becomes all those things, and it's less about connecting with other people. Maybe we should try more connection and less point scoring, more reflection and less winning, more philosophy and less passionate ideology. We just got to remember we're all humans. We're all imperfect. We're all trying to some degree, some harder than others, but it doesn't matter. Everyone's trying. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be appreciated. Everyone wants to be connected. And we need to remember that. Thank you very much. That's all for me today. And I'll see you again on Doesn't Matter.